was a typo, and I'm like, welcome to Under Two Capes, and we are talking about Beast Wars versus Beast Machines. Well, that's just pride.
Well, that's just pride.
So I'm here with Robert and Nix. What is up, people?
Also, my brother Nathan behind me, so got to deal with him. Sorry.
So let's talk about Beast Wars first, because here's the thing about Beast Wars. But this was the Clone Wars of Transformers. What I mean by that is that it kept Transformers relevant between like the G1 era and like the other eras of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you notice, it's like back then it was, and now Transformers were, because when you look at the time period,
I'm gonna switch over to a Chrome. Be right back.
Yeah, when you look at the time period, Nix, it's like Transformers was like around. Obviously, it wasn't like away, but it wasn't necessarily that big of a cultural thing until like Beast Wars showed up. Because all of a sudden, it's like, oh, a T-Rex that can turn into a robot and shoot a laser out of its mouth.
Sign me up.
Sign me up, exactly. And it's like, so you have all the animal robots, and that was the weird part because I'm like, I thought you could. The thing about this show that's kind of weird though is that the size thing changes, because I'm like, when they actually connect it to G1 and we see like the Autobots and Decepticons and Decepticons are significantly larger than the Maximals.
Oh, yeah, they're huge.
I'm like, how? It's like,
how does it happen?
Yeah, it's like, Robert, I was telling Nix, one of the things that was kind of a mind death for me is like with the size difference, because if you notice, when we compare the Maximals and Predacons to the size of the Autobots and Decepticons, I'm like, what happened?
Well, there's a rephrase. Well, remember what Megatron said? Energon guzzlers.
Oh, so they like Groovy because it had so much Energon?
No, that's why they got smaller, because they were reducing the energon consumption. They were able to survive with a lot less.
That's interesting, I guess.
That was the main reason. Because they were so big, that's why it wasted so much energon compared to the future generation. So in other words, they evolved to need it less, and that resulted in their size being reduced.
That's something, I guess. I guess I'll go with that.
You want to know season 3 about that, of course, or season 2.
Well, yeah. So we'll start with this. So, who is your favorite Maximal and Predacon? Mine are Silverbolt for the Maximals, and for the Predacons, if I have to go with Predacon, if I have to pick my favorite Predacon, probably Waspinator. He's everyone's favorite. What about you, Nick? Actually, no, Black Arachnia. Because of her arc, particularly like season, I think it was like 3, I want to say, is when she turned good, right, Robert?
Yep. Season 3 is end of season 2.
Yeah. All right. So, and Nix, your favorite Maximal and Predacon?
Kind of a twofer, I guess, Dinobot, but I also really did like Black Arachnia. I think not just because like, oh, she's the girl of the group, but like she has a really good arc, and so did Dinobot. I think, and his death. Oh, his death.
That was one of the best episodes. It was up, Darius. Or Robert, how about you? Favorite Maximal or Predacon?
Rip my heart out.
Dinobot tied with Optimus Primal and Megatron.
Yes. I love that. So here's the thing. These aren't the Autobots and Decepticons. What they actually were is like the descendants of them that assume some of their namesake, if you will, like Megatron and Megatron, if you will. But they're still like Cybertronians, if you will. So they show up. The way this show happens is that for some reason, in that universe, warp drives are a thing, and when you go through warp, that's time travel. So it's like, something tells me, by the way, Robert, I'm going to be playing this clip a lot.
Time travel.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly. And by Robert, I think there is a delay on your side.
No, I think I'm reacting a bit delayed. Sorry.
No, it's all good. But yeah. So so they end up on prehistoric Earth. That's why when they scan the forms, they turn to animals. And
Yep.
You notice how they retcon why the Maximals and Predacons showed up on Earth in the middle of the show?
Yep, because I can explain that.
Go ahead.
Because the creators follow fans.
Okay. Oh yeah. They followed all
That's
the
why.
fan groups and stuff. So
Yep,
that's
they
why.
followed the fans, and then they basically decided to move it along, especially when fans were complaining, like, well, because they came in as
And Robert, you are robotic.
Oh no! Oh
uh,
damn!
I guess he lost the internet. But anyway, but it's like, and that's not to say they didn't like link to the trans, because there was a great episode when Starscream inhabits the body of Waspinator,
Yeah.
and he's like, and all of a sudden Waspinator is talking very like intelligently.
Oh yeah, yep.
It's interesting too because
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of what they wanted to do, they didn't know if they could or not, so they had to kind of get like the okay from the higher ups. Like, can we go through with this plot line? Can we link it back to G1?
Yep. By the way, one of the creators has long since passed away. I'm double checking which one, but it was a shame.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing, and yeah, it's, and I also loved where like Megatron were like it's carrying on the long tradition of Starscream trying to betray Megatron again, trying to take over.
Funny thing is that they took out I believe it was Pterosaur early because his voice actor was doing Starscream, and they're like, okay, let's not try and be like that voice sounds similar. Just knock him out of the episode.
Yeah, exactly. That's the funny part about. And here's the thing. So halfway, in between season 1 and 2, there's this matter wave that ends up like reformatting a lot of the Maximals and Predacons, and Scorponok and Pterosaur fall into lava and die. Now, if you notice, they're glowing because they were going through the transmetal process. The creators did that, so if Hasbro said they could bring those characters back, they had an out.
Yep, but they didn't.
And that's the difference between Beast Wars and Beast Machines. The first one, Beast Wars, Hasbro was much more involved.
They were at the mercy of Hasbro.
Yeah, much more at the mercy because of because of
season
the toy.
3, big time.
That's why so many of the characters got new robot modes, like Optimal Optimus, Black Arachnia. That's why that happened.
I love it. We were introduced to the box. I love when they took the form of Unicron, like Unicron.
Yeah,
and
he goes.
In fact, they blew up Primal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because any Optimus will die in Transformers at some point. That's
they brought him back.
Well,
with a new body.
He's like Superman. Any new iteration of the universe, he has to die and come back to life.
Well, yeah. Well, remember, this is not the same character, though.
But still, he's the Optimus of the group.
Right. Optimus.
And I love how Megatron FaceTimes him just to gloat.
Oh yeah. Oh, again, David K. Beast Wars Megatron is the biggest highlight of this whole series.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yes. No. But season two is when the writing hit the stratosphere.
I also love where he becomes a dragon, but they're doing a trial and he has the powdered wig like a judge.
We'll get to that when we get to season 3. Season 2, but yeah, we have the Transmetal. That's when everyone except for Rhinox and Waspinator get an upgrade.
And Dinobot.
Oh, and Dinobot. You're right, and Dinobot. But they no longer have to worry about the Energon overload anymore.
Because it's stabilized, in other words.
And then, got blasted.
And then the other toy line, the Fusors, of which only 2 ended up in the show, Silverbolt and Quick Strike.
By the way, show to point out, it was Earth all along.
Well, yeah, it's like, okay, it's like, it's kind of funny. Even they said at the time when they started the show, they didn't know it was going to be Earth.
Well, yeah, then they decided, well, you know what? Let's just blow up the other moon and have it be, it was Earth.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, hey, it goes, and I definitely dug first off, the part that I really dug about this, it's called Beast Wars. It felt like a war story more than like Transformers had at the time.
Well, because mostly because the war had most of the war already happened on Cybertron. It was more than bringing it to Earth. But even that, yeah, it was still under 80s kids show writing.
But with this, because they're like 3D animation, they can have Transformers get like blown up and stuff. And Waspinator ends up getting blown up a lot,
Yeah,
turned into a trash cube.
I would say though, Air Razor and Tigatron were good characters that, of course, got yanked out.
And turned into
Tiger Hawk, but that was later.
Yeah, that was weird. I'm like, what? Why? Why not just make them emissaries? Why destroy these two characters?
Yep, we also got Death Charge, Rampage, and of course, Black Arachnia.
Black Arachnia was like the coolest. Now here's the thing. If you notice, in all of the seasons, they have that one Predacon that ends up turning good. Dinobot being the
early, very early
for most of them, yeah, very early. But then but Dinobot kind of vacillates sometimes. It took until the later seasons for him to go full good.
That's true.
Yeah,
it was more a matter of him kind of siding with the Maximals for his own
reservation.
Good. Yeah, enemy of my enemy kind of thing.
Yeah, in QT they did see ancient humans.
Yeah, exactly. Which leads to the best episode of all Transformers, any series, anything. Code of Honor.
Yeah, where Dinobot is wondering if he's like if he can choose his own fate. And to the point where he almost does the sword through the gut thing because he doesn't feel like he has a purpose. But then Megatron has the idea where if they wipe out ancient humanity.
Oh, yeah, that's what we feel about the golden disc.
Yeah, the golden. Actually, Robert, elaborate.
Okay, so it turns out we found out it was I mentioned before that the reason they took it was the golden disc. That was the whole reason behind the Maximals chasing them. But we never found out what it was until season 2, when it turns out it was from one of the Voyager probes. And it had a whole bunch of information that Megatron, he knew since the beginning this was Earth.
Yeah.
He knew. And then he decided, well, if I take out humanity are the ones that help the Autobots win the war. If I take out humanity, then the Autobots will be wiped out. So he decides to go and attack them all.
So he goes to almost kill them. And then Dinobot goes in and he takes out like every Predacon before going. He goes out like out like a boss. And
I still like override warning. It will be the loss of spark. Override.
Yeah,
that's
Darius
he gives.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Darius says Dinobot's death in Beast Wars affected 90s kids the way Optimus Prime's death affected 80s kids. It was like
I got the
Go
question that once haunted me has been and my being has been answered. The future is not fixed. My choices are my own. And yes, how ironic. For I now find that I have no choice at all. I am a warrior. Let the battle be joined.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that. And then this was Megatron this is when Megatron crossed the line.
Yeah, exactly. And then then you have then obviously the Fusors and everything show, and then we get Silverbolt, who is the most stereotypical like superhero ever. He even has the theme song.
Yep, and yet that's the reason, and he's the one that he was able to win over Black Arachnia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's Black Arachnia, the stars to my night sky.
Of all the corny.
Yeah, I love.
That was always my favorite with the of all the corny. I know that was the final line from Beast Machines, but I don't care. That was still one of my favorites.
And I love where we learn that like Tarantulas had like a contingency plan in case someone tried to like turn her back into a Maximal. That's like it will completely wipe her. And then when you think she dies, Silverbolt goes bloodthirsty and goes after Tarantulas.
By the way, her voice, that's Jean Grey from Evolution.
Yeah, that's so good.
we can't mention Silverbolt though without one of the other best episodes in the series, Transmutate.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Him and Rampage fall for this proto form that never got finished. And
I wouldn't say they fall for them,
well, no, not fall like it's in a
but
brotherly.
befriend.
Robert, don't tempt the shippers.
Okay.
Well,
I mean,
actually, apparently, in a different continuity that kind of runs off in the comics, Transmutate is supposed to be a woman, like a female Transformer,
voiced by Susan Blue, so
and is supposed to have like the Cybertronian equivalent of autism. But I don't think that was the original intent in the show. It was just to show that Transmutate was completely deformed, like ill-formed.
by the way, this episode was the sole episode that was produced, written by Christy Marks, the creator of Gem and the Hologram.
Wow.
By the way, do you know who the vocal director of this series is? RC.
Yep.
From G1.
Susan Blue. Again, Susan Blue.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's done that so much. Yeah, but yeah, that's why she was Transmutate.
And I like how Black Arachnia goes through the journey of like, is she can the Maximals actually accept her? And then she has to like go. She has to essentially like again earn their trust, but then it's like she has to put her trust in them when like they go through the whole surgical procedure, and then she shows up and like kicks Rampage's ass. In other words, Protoform X.
Yep.
And,
which is no small feat.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you see like the origin of Rampage, there's like 3 Maximals trying to hold him.
And he was basically there trying to replicate Starscream's Eternal Spark.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of feel really bad for Rampage because like the series pretty much tells you right out that he's not so much sadistic as he is trying to just kind of placate his own pain from his very existence is agony.
And yet they treat him like just a villainous monster.
Yeah, I think they could have done a little bit more with Rampage.
But
when Depth Charge shows up, it kind of paints him as straight up a villain.
Now, but let's bring up the season 2 finale where we bring, of all characters, Ravage.
And he has a robot form.
Yeah, well, he basically been upgraded to a humanoid form, but he still transforms into a tape.
Somehow. But you know what I love about this? When like Ravage hovers the ship and then Primal goes, let's do this. They just drops them and they're clearly like, the hell just happened?
Yep. Oh, by the way, you got a super chat.
Yeah, and Andrew says, I remember the line, that's just crime. Yeah, I love that.
But yeah, but I love it how he's there first to help apprehend Megatron for them because he's working for the council. But then what Megatron reveals, he still has a chunk of the golden disc with a message left by Megatron, not voiced by Frank Welker because he wasn't able to do it. But once he found out this was Megatron's plan all along, Ravage turncoats.
Yeah, and then as he transforms, he goes dun 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 dun. I love that.
And the Ekiati.
Yeah, exactly. And then
the Ark.
Yeah, and then they find the Ark, which again, the giant transformers and stuff, that was cool. About it, Darius says the agenda was my favorite three-parter because the G1 references alone. Yeah, that was great. I love that.
Yeah. Oh, I think I found the
By the way, even that went back and forth on how much they want to tie it into G1, because at first they were going to do it as just its own thing. And then it's like slowly they started to go, okay, as they were allowed to, they're like, okay, now we can tie it into like the regular Transformers continuity.
I got the quote now. Both quotes from Megatron. Now I enter these hallowed halls, a conqueror. Yes, Autobots are Decepticons, still frozen in emergency stasis, awaiting the moment 4 million years hence when they will awaken to start the Great War. The Great War, when the Autobots defeated the Decepticons and thus their descendants, the Maximals, rule we Predacons. Archaic Energon Dufflers, how dare they? Unwilling though I was to follow my namesake's instructions. It has all come down to this: the ultimate risk for the ultimate prize, a day of reckoning for those who made us slaves. So we are now face to face, Optimus Prime. In one future, you awaken and become the great leader of the Autobots. But time shall take a different track now. Computer, all power and available power to primary weapon. And now, Optimus Prime, in memory of the Decepticon, for the glory of the Predacon, for the Cybertron that is rightfully ours and mine to rule. I unleash the storm of vengeance. Farewell.
Oh, well, here's the thing. I also love where Megatron then has another plan. I'm just gonna kill Optimus Prime while he's in a coma.
That was the last part where he's like, yeah, that was the whole point of that speech. He's gonna take the ultimate risk.
And then I love where to preserve Optimus, Primal takes his spark in, and that's how he transforms into Optimus. He goes, "Are you Optimus? Are you okay?" In a word. Prime. Oh, and I love where he goes, "Stay close to me. It's time to transform and roll out."
But there is one huge continuity error.
What?
What does Optimus Spark look like? The Matrix of Leadership.
Oh no, that's
whoopsie.
That's not what the. By the way, I'm glad you brought that up, Robert. This show is where the concept of the spark comes from.
Yep, the whole concept of the spark was introduced in here so they can have something like a soul or whatever, and it was all brought so they brought Starscream in.
Yeah, because if you notice, when they brought Starscream back in like G1, that was just a like ghost thing. They never really like did anything with that.
But then that's where we got the confirmation he's eternal. How he got back in time is never stated.
Or like how Waspinator flew all the way to Cybertron for Beast Machines, but
no, he got launched.
No, but he said he flew for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah. I do love that ultimate cliffhanger. You're like, did he win? Did he win? That's what you saw. You would not know until they started season 3.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially, and you have more like transformations, like where Megatron takes Megatron Spark into him, and then he becomes the dragon. Behold the dragon!
And that's right when Scorponok tries to betray, not Scorpion,
Tarantulas
tried to betray him.
Because remember, Tarantulas, it was later revealed, is not really a Predacon. He's an agent of like the Predacon Council.
Yep.
So he's not really on Megatron's side. So that's actually really interesting the way they do that.
Then they decide to split Rampage's spark and make a reborn. Well, first they try to make an army of drones,
essentially.
Transmetal Dinobot.
That doesn't work. And then this is also when Cheetor gets reformatted because he gets in the middle of the machine. And I love the arc where Cheetor is having like his like basically feral arc, because it's like a horror movie. You just see the red eyes, and then it's like you just hear like a jaguar, and then he's like sprinting, but he has a jetpack.
Yep. Yeah, and that's also and then I like how they made these Transmetal 2 forms. Something you had to earn.
Yeah, and then it's like you had to learn. It's kind of like you had to learn how to transform. But Dave says, does anyone else remember when Beast Wars was always in syndication on Wednesday mornings, but after 8 a.m. so you could only watch it over the summer, or if you stayed home from school? Yeah, I just watched it on YouTube or Transformers.com.
I remember that, but that's when we started having the Transmetal 2s, which Optimus was the first up.
She probably had internet issues,
right? But then we eventually got Black Arachnia's ending of her character arc, where she basically first it was Depth Charge and Rampage. I think no, they didn't blow up yet, but you know what I mean. That eventually we got her resolution where she became crossing the Rubicon, where they save her, and then through that she upgrades the Transmetal 2. Yeah, and finally becomes a Maximus.
Well, and that's ironic because remember, her attempt to get a transmetal form is what put her on the path of almost dying.
Exactly. And then it turns out, there was a little Tarantulas left a little something behind.
Yeah, it was essentially a self-destruct system.
Yep.
Which I dug. Hey, what's up, Salam? So then we get to Beast Machines. Now,
we should mention the end. So Megatron finally, after finding the Book of Primates, and boy, did he really get preachy. Which, come on, one of my favorite moments. Come on, let's have it. The old victory and honor speech. Speechless.
Yeah, it's it's like, no, we're done.
They fight. Dinobot we have a Dinobot is back. When Rampage gets destroyed, somehow that links the original Dinobot Spark back to him. And
Well,
then
it's because there was supposed to. Hey, what's up next? There was supposed to be an episode where Rat Trap would try and download Dinobot's personality into the other Dinobot. But so the fans consider that canon as in it happened off screen to explain this.
I like the alternative though, where that somehow when Rampage's Spark went over, it left a doorway for Dinobot to come through because you had half of his spark was the Great Spark.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they find the Nemesis, the Decepticons' original ship, leading to a big battle and everything as they try to prevent everything from happening. And then eventually they win.
Dies.
Yeah, Tiger. First we're introduced to Tiger Hawk, and then he died. It's like, but because it was Tigatron and Air Razor, Optimus really felt it. He's like, no more Megatron, no more, because he just lost depth charge too.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, Dave brings up a good point. Beast Machines was to Beast Wars what Spider-Man Limited was to Spider-Man 94. A short disappointment that never really improved.
I was agreed with that to a point, but I still think Beast Machines handled things much better than Spider-Man Unlimited.
Yeah, so Beast Machines. So they escape. Now, what's a key plot point in Beast Machines is that they essentially staple Megatron to the hull of their shuttle, which
because it was too big, it was too small.
So essentially, he falls off, and while they're going through the time portal, and he arrives on Cybertron first. We don't know how early, but we all know he arrived first, and then he took over the planet with a virus that either people shut down or they were like reverted into their alternate forms. So when the Maximals showed up, that's when like they reverted back to their season 1 beast forms. What would you want to say, Robert?
Okay, here's some things that happened. First, Marv Wolfman, who did write some episodes, came with the initial idea of Megatron somehow conquered it. Then Bob Skier and Marty Eisenberg, who worked on the Godzilla theory but had no clue about Transformers, so we're back to square one again, are the ones who came up with all the mystical stuff. So, but because they were given more liberty by Hasbro, by the way, you know who was one of the people who told him don't watch old episodes?
Who?
Dan DiDio.
Really?
And the thing is, he felt Beast Wars was too continuity heavy. He even told Wolfman that Beast Wars had no ties to the original series and to do as he plays with G1 continuity when doing his outline. Again, I'm quoting the TF Wiki, so they had sarcasm in this. Again, Beast Machines was a sequel to a sequel. As it turns out, Beast Machine ended up being more continuity heavy, and one reason was because Hasbro told them things like Vector, Sigma, and Hate Plague and encouraged them to be used. So eventually, Hasbro got more involved again.
Well, yeah, of course, they would have to be. And then Darius says Beast Machines had potential. If it hadn't made the finale of Beast Wars pointless, they weren't restricted from using Beast Wars information. Maximals get their reformatted forms, but Megatron was the only highlight.
I would say this. It didn't make it useless because they did prevent Megatron from taking over Earth and the Earth and destroying humanity. So that part was a victory.
The other thing that I will say, again, about Beast Machines, separated from Beast Wars, take it as its own thing. It's not bad. It's just when you get into like the because so what happens is that the Maximals get new forms, and then this is where it gets really more mystical because they're reformatted into techno-organic forms now, where their transformations are more like organic and stuff. So that's fine. So they keep kicking the ass of Megatron's army, so he creates 3 generals with 3 sparks. Waspinator, Rhinox, and Silverbolt. Now, Rhinox is the one that I hate the most because when he finally snaps out of it, he straight up turns into a villain saying, both of you are wrong. I'm going to kill all of you.
But he also feels Megatron's way is the more correct way.
Yeah, I'm like, you literally fought Megatron.
Yeah, it's like, what? They didn't strip him of his humanity. Also, you have Optimus and Primal becoming the devotee near zealot to the Oracle.
Yeah, he becomes way too much of... Yeah, exactly. That's the other problem.
He's a zealot. I had to say it. He's a zealot.
Yeah, and then when they get Silverbolt back, he becomes too much like a brooding Batman.
Which, okay, feeling, given how much of a superhero he was and after everything he had to go through, I kind of get it.
Mm-hmm.
It made more sense than Rhinox.
Yeah, exactly. But which I'm understanding that, and then I love so Black Arachnia keeps trying to get Silverbolt back, and she thinks it's Thrust, but when she finds out is that it's Waspinator, and he goes, "Biker." When like Silverbolt finally comes back, he goes, "Don't make a move on Waspinator's girlfriend." I love that. Waspinator's cool, biker bot.
Yeah, but I am the future. I have forged this entire planet into a single elegant machine. And that's where we get all of it. It's the techno-organic versus pure machinery.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, but the main problem with the show is it goes way too much. Yeah, exactly. Darius brings up that Rhinox was his favorite Maximal, so turning him into a quasi villain was not cool with me. Silverbolt becoming brooding after being reformed. Well, yeah, with Silverbolt there was more of a reason for that to happen. And then Dave says, I recall the only enjoyable aspect of was
sorry, that's my brother. I'm sorry, that's my brother. Sorry.
Yeah. Was the callback to Beast Machines and the return of Beast Wars characters. Maybe it's only on its own merit, but I remember it was frustrating. Yeah. Now, the other part now. Actually, you know what, Nix, your thoughts on Beast Machines?
Yeah, we haven't heard much. Sorry.
That's all good. I was gonna say I didn't really care for it very much. I think it was too empty for me. Like we got a couple new characters, one of whom turned out to actually be Megatron.
Yeah, Noble
way.
Savage. Yeah,
whatever. But like, I don't know. I didn't really care for the techno-organic thing, and I didn't care for the fact that Prime was trying to bring organic to what, let's be honest, has always been a purely techno planet. Cybertron is not organic in the slightest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's upsetting the natural balance of Cybertron's world, and I think it would have been a better kind of series if they had actually revealed that the Oracle was the real villain all along.
Now, to be fair, apparently it was intended that Prime was going too far and he moderated his views in season 2, but they never really did that.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is that the show is supposed to get a season 3, so Optimus Primal sacrifices himself with Megatron
to reformat everything,
to turn everything organic, and then what happened, which was weird, and then it's like, but I do like how Silverbolt becomes straight up his old self, and I just love that. It's
now I will say this: the organic and techno stuff kind of makes sense when you take into account the Megatron being disgusted with the beast mode.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, okay.
Well, even at the beginning, he said like minus. Well, first he said he thought he got rid of it. Turns out he get him angry enough, he turns back into the dragon. But at the very end, he's like, Megatron in my old body, minus the of a beast mode, of course. And I loved it. Megatron in the optimal Optimus form.
Yep, I did. That was really cool. And then Jay says, and ironically, Beast Machines felt very bland and sterile compared to Beast Wars, despite their organic. Yeah, that's true. And Mean Zero says, and credit to David K for giving us a Megatron that's outright scary. Yeah, even when he is a floating head, that's terrifying.
Yeah,
I just want to say that I don't really understand Megatron's intense hatred for his beast mode, because when we see him in Beast Wars, he is very, very loving with his beast form. Like we see him petting the little dinosaur head hand.
It could be that like when he came back and he saw like the perfection of like technology, it could be like he changed, and that's why.
Yeah, true. I just think they should have given us more of like a setup for it.
Right.
True.
I think it's also because he looks at it because he failed. It must have been the beast mode. Because he can't complain about his robotic mode.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, okay, here's the other reason why I do like Beast Machines to a degree, because when you look at it, because Beast Wars is very much an even fight. You have an even number of robots against an even number of robots. With this, it's like, no, they're doing a pun intended guerrilla war against like a technologically superior force. So I do kind of like that.
Now, I funny enough, did you know that Simon Furman, one of the Transformers writers, feels this show is too dark and serious for being a cartoon for kids? And this is the guy who gave us Generation 2, which is something. So he's a bit of an expert on that.
Well, remember, it's like even the voice actor for Primal was like, I'm not digging all this spirituality thing. Darius says some behind the scenes gossip mentioned having the G1 Megatron spark in his body drove Beast Wars Megatron insane. That's why he blamed organics. Oh, that could actually be an interesting theory. That would also work really well. I definitely dig that. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, but again, the fact that this. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no, I just said that would have been interesting.
But they have to show it. That's
but I would say, and the fact that this is the finale of G1 that people have seen on shows does not do it any favors.
Yeah, because it's like that's what G1 leads to.
No.
I'm not a fan of that. By the way, I did like the fake out of when Optimus Primal sees like that hologram of Optimus Prime, but it's Megatron trying to get the access codes for the Oracle. I didn't.
Yep.
Dave says Furman's Transformers comics could be dark and violent. Same with Budiansky. They were awesome. Yeah. They started coming out with a lot of those compendiums. I need to get one.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying G2 really got dark at everything. So that thing, if he's saying that Beast Machines is too dark.
Well, it's also because it was for a cartoon. It was a cartoon intended for kids.
Now, I will say this, though. Furman, though, is not against everything, because when he finally did the end of his Regeneration 1 comic, which wrapped up the Marvel saga, it actually had a beat. It had, when the last Cybertronian, Hot Rod, died, it then, like all of his energy went into these organic pods, and the first one to come out was the silhouette of Botanica.
Oh, so in other words, Hot Rod led to the creation of the Maximals.
No, well, yeah. Well, the Maximals was a plant-based Maximals, but yes.
No, remember, they were only plant-based Maximals because they landed on a planet that only had plants.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying Botanica, since that was one of the ones Beast Machine original.
Oh, okay. I can get so but she was still a Maximal. So
yeah, but basically. But yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's fine. But it's like, again, that being the end, that I could see why people were upset with Beast Machines. That I get it.
Yeah.
Now, and to be clear, I may like Beast Machines. I love Beast Wars infinitely more. Let me be clear on that. Yeah, and maybe he meant it felt too oppressive and not enough fun elements that appeal to kids. That's true too. And there were a lot of moments where I'm like, can something actually happen? Like, do something, shoot something.
Do something.
Yeah.
Do something other than complain.
Now, Beast Machines, especially Primal, have a beard. In fact, his second voice actor everyone will recognize is Ron Perlman.
Yeah, exactly. He was even Optimus Primal in the movie, in the live action movie.
Yep, definitely. But nothing has ever come close. Now, if you've seen the Japanese anime, it's weird.
Yeah. I saw clips from the Japanese dub, and oh boy.
But especially the original stuff in between seasons.
But again, as Nick said earlier, the best part about Beast Wars and Beast Machines is the Optimus and Megatron voice actors, because they did a fantastic job anytime they played those characters.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's like altogether, I would count I would go with I would rate Beast Wars as like an 8 to a 9 out of 10, and Machines as like a 6 to a 7.
Yeah, there is stuff you can like, but again, when you have it connected to Wars
and G1, it's like
G1, and again, in fact, it ends G1.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, okay, I could see why people were a little pissed off at this, particularly when you factor that in there.
By the way, I just realized, there's a big, huge continuity error right off the bat that comes about from them not watching Beast Wars.
What?
Optimus didn't have an original body to go back to.
Oh.
That's a big one.
That's a huge one. His
Oh, yeah.
body got blown up.
Oh, yeah, that was another protoform he was in. That was the blank. Oh, yeah.
Someone just
I
pointed that
never
out. I just
noticed
looked it
that.
up.
I'm like,
You
oh,
real-
yeah, that's true.
So how did he reformat back to being the gorilla?
Is it like it goes off of your memories, or how does that work?
That's
You
the
needed
problem.
some way to retcon that.
But unfortunately, never revealed.
Yeah, I'm like,
Someone
oh.
pointed that out, and I looked online. I'm just like, oh my god, they're right.
Yeah, that is the funniest part because
But
yeah,
again, that's the side effect of being told not to watch it.
yeah,
I'll be right back.
exactly. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. We're about to wrap up anyway. But yeah, but so next, I'll ask you, how do you rate the two series?
I think I pretty much agree. I rate Beast Wars pretty highly. Like out of 10, it'd be like an 8 or a 9.
Okay, yeah, of course. I'll give you that. I dig that. And then Dave says maybe he. Oh wait, I think the comments have to load, but Andrew says for a super chat, for some reason it's not showing up on StreamYard. He says, "Hey, try watching Beast Wars 2 and Neo. It is that real, by the way. Yeah, I need to check that out because I heard Beast Wars 2 and Beast Wars Neo were weird."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
what would I rate this? I'd agree with you on the rating.
Yeah, it's that. So because it could have been Beast Wars could have been so much more, but the spirituality part is where it really kills it. And Dave says 8.5 out of 10 for Beast Wars. Beast Machines is 5.5. Yeah, I'll give you that.
But
yeah,
yeah, it is all. I've heard how crazy, insane, but then they also go in their
There's
own
a clone of
direction.
Nyx.
But yeah, here though they tried to avoid. 4.5. Night Scream
Was annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Was annoying.
Botanica was back. I love Rat Trap. So I'm a tree hugger. Deal with it.
I hated Night Scream.
We haven't talked about Rat Trap. Love him.
Except here's the thing: they kind of did him dirty in Beast Machines.
Oh,
they did.
Yeah,
they
but
did.
I love Rat Trap.
Yeah, he was really good.
Cheetor, I really like him too. Hey,
Rat Trap, another Scott McNeil voice.
Yeah. Then of course there's Ian James Corlett as Cheetor, like Big Bot. I always love. You know what? That's something I would always picture Bumblebee saying to Optimus after that, like Big Bot
or Hot Shot.
Yeah, or Hot Shot. I always feel like Big Bot. That feels like something that the yellow younger bot should say to the Optimus.
Speaking of which, you know what's kind of funny?
Yep.
Since Cybertron, there hasn't been a hotshot character.
Nope. Wait.
That's really that's very interesting. Because at that point they went back to just having Bumblebee be the younger guy, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
It kind of works. I guess it's because Bumblebee's the more popular bot.
Yeah, even though Hotshot's cool, but I definitely see where they're like going with that. But yeah, so I think that is a good place to leave it. So yeah, it's like Beast Machines is good if you separate it from everything else other than that. It's like, all right. But so Robert, where can we find you and what have you got coming on your channel?
Link down below. I may finish up Dispatch tonight. I may not. I haven't decided if I'm able to get through to it or not yet. But yeah, and I have that. I still have Pro Teachers Noobs. Me and Britt still. We have in the can all of Bomb Queen. In fact, tonight she and I should be recording the Peter David Captain Marvel series.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm taking Bomb Queen slow. Nick, have you ever read Bomb Queen?
No.
Think of it like if Harley Quinn was in The Boys.
Oh God.
Yes.
Oh God.
But there's justification, and it's only her city, not the whole world. That's that bad.
Yeah. But it's definitely check it out.
Dave brings up Sonic Underground. I actually enjoyed it, but I could see the comparison.
I can't say anything bad about Sonic Underground because that show was my childhood.
Oh, really?
Sonic Underground.
Like,
And
I loved
Gary-
it so much. My older brother actually got me for like Christmas one year a box set of episodes.
By the
So
way, Nick, did you know that there was originally going to be a Archie Sonic comic that would have resolved it? Never did it. So fans took it upon themselves. And get this. You want to know what Queen Arlena's magical instrument was?
what
A microphone.
makes sense?
But by the way, did you know Gary Chalky was both Grounder from Adventures and Robotnik in Underground?
Yeah, I can hear the resemblance when I think about that voice because it definitely wasn't. It wasn't any of the previous Robotnik voices they got.
Oh yeah, definitely not Jim Cummings' voice.
No,
But I think he did a good job of balancing comedy and seriousness.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he did.
definitely.
And then Dave says, have you guys seen the Beast Wars toys were brought back on Toy Subs? Yeah, Transformers has been re-releasing a lot of the classic ones. I plan on buying Silverbolt and Black Arachnia, so we'll see on that. But yeah, so as for Comics League, you guys can find, so tonight I'll be on Ketty Flips to talk about the Athena book. And then as for Super Wonder, Britt and I are going to be comparing Superman and Wonder Woman to Doctor Strange and Clea. That's going to be fun. And movie night is Shazam! Fury of the Gods. And for Amazon Answers, I believe, actually, come back to me on that. Nix, how about you?
Right now I'm in between working on my game, Knight's Oath.
Hey, there you go.
It's going pretty well, you know. I'm taking a small break from that right now though. But I'm also working on some perler art that you can see on my Twitter, Batty Girl Nix.
I like them. They're really good.
Thank you. I've been having a lot of fun making them.
You definitely look like you have been. And so stay heroic, everyone. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. Yes, Robert loves that. That's his favorite thing I say. And I'm gonna play. I'll play the trailer for Athena before the outro. But remember, maximize.
My home has been invaded, my people slaughtered, and I could not do anything to stop it. Not again. I will not lose another home, another family. I am Princess Lyra of the planet Sintragar, Athena, the goddess of thunder, and this is my story.